Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right, we're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
The story you're about to enjoy was inspired by Rosie and Fina. Thank you so much for your amazing idea. Ivy, it's time to leave for Fina's birthday party. Are you ready to go? Called Ivy's mom from the bottom of the stairs. You don't want to be late and miss your big pony ride, do you? Ivy's mom had noticed that her daughter was acting a little upset ever since she got back from visiting with Fina that morning, but didn't think too much of it. Fina, along with their friend Rosie, were all really good friends. Ivy, Fina, and Rosie lived in the same neighborhood and played together almost every day. That morning, Ivy ran over to see Fina before her birthday party. A giant bounce house sat in the backyard, and a trailer with a little pony inside was parked in her driveway. And as Ivy was talking with Fina about what an amazing time they were going to have that afternoon, Rosie ran into the yard to join them. Normally, this would have been totally fine. In fact, it would have been more than fine. After all, Rosie, Fina, and Ivy were such good friends. But that particular day, something happened that had never happened before. Rosie, Fina, and Ivy got into a fight. "This is going to be the best birthday party ever!" exclaimed Ivy as she looked around at all the fairy garden decorations that Fina's parents had put up. "I feel like I'm in a wonderful, magical fairyland right now, and the party hasn't even started." "I know, I can't wait," replied Fina. "I can't wait either," said Rosie. "On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the party?" Ivy asked Rosie. 1,000, exclaimed Rosie. "I have the perfect fairy dress picked out and a crown made out of teeny tiny flowers that I'm going to wear. And I can't wait for my pony ride." "Me too," said Ivy. Fina said, and as Ivy was finishing her sentence, Rosie was finishing the sentence of her own. But to their surprise, they were exactly the same. Fina said I could have the second pony ride after her. Ivy and Rosie said together, "Wait a minute. What do you mean you have the pony ride after Fina?" called out Rosie, sounding very annoyed as she looked at Ivy. "Fina told me yesterday at school when we were on the swings," replied Ivy, turning towards Fina. "Isn't that right?" Fina could feel her face turn red and get warm. She had made the same promise to both her friends and didn't even realize it. But they were all good friends, and she was sure they could work it out. However, things didn't go exactly as she thought. "Yes, Ivy, I did tell you that. You could have the pony ride right after me," replied Fina. "What?" exclaimed a very surprised Rosie. "I must have forgotten that I said the same thing to Rosie when we were walking home from school one day," added Fina. "I'm really sorry, but everyone will get a turn, so it doesn't really even matter who goes second." "Yes, it does matter," said Ivy and Rosie together. "I'm better friends with you, so I should get the pony ride after you," said Rosie quickly. "Also, I've noticed that you've been playing with Ivy a lot more at recess, and that makes me feel left out. Having the second pony ride would make me feel a bit better." "Well, Fina and I have known each other longer, so I should get the second ride," Ivy replied, folding her arms in a huff. "Also, this reminds me that one day last week, you invited Rosie over to play and didn't ask me. That kind of hurt my feelings, so I think you owe me that second ride." Fina looked really nervous and didn't expect her friends to react this way. "I'm really sorry I promised the second pony ride to both of you," said Fina. "But the way you're reacting is really making me upset. You're both my friends, and I like playing with you each individually and together. But it's my birthday, and I shouldn't be upset today." "Not surprised you'd say that. It's all you've been talking about for weeks," whispered Ivy under her breath. Your birthday. You didn't even check on me last weekend when I missed school because I had a cold." "Well, I'm sorry, Ivy. Getting ready for a big birthday party is a lot of work," said Fina, sounding a bit hurt. "I thought you were excited about the party and wanted to hear all about it." I mean, we're excited, but we didn't need to hear every second of every day about it, added Rosie. You were kind of bragging a bit about your bounce house and pony rides and 3-tiered fairy-themed birthday cake. Fina looked shocked at how her friends were acting and what they were saying. She had no idea they felt that way. It sounds like you two don't even want to come to my birthday with the way you're talking, replied Fina. So I guess we have the answer to the question of who gets the pony ride after me. My little sister. Fina then turned away and stomped towards her house. I don't care if either of you are at my party this afternoon, said Fina. It doesn't feel like you want to be there anyway. Fina walked into her house, slammed the door behind her, leaving Rosie and Ivy alone in the backyard. See what you did? Shouted Rosie and Ivy at each other at the same time. What I did? Replied Rosie. You definitely made Fina more upset. No way, said Ivy. It was totally you. They both stared at each other with the scowls on their face for a few seconds before turning around and walking away, both quite upset at what had just happened. As Ivy walked home, it all started to sink in. Yes, she was still upset about Fina offering the second pony ride to Rosie. And yes, she was upset that Fina asked Rosie over last week without inviting her. But Ivy also started to feel bad for the way she had talked to Fina and the way she made her feel on her birthday. She knew the right thing to do would be to apologize to her friend. But when Ivy got home and walked in the door, her mom was wrapping Fina's birthday present at the dining room table, and what she said next did not help Ivy's situation. Hey Ivy, how's the party setup looking over at Fina's? She asked as Ivy sat down on the couch looking sad. Is the pony there yet? I bet you can't wait for your ride after Fina. And even though Ivy was feeling bad for Fina, as soon as she heard the talk of the pony ride again, Ivy immediately could think of nothing else but her own feelings. And thinking only of herself and not how Fina and Rosie felt wouldn't get her any closer to fixing the situation, which deep down is what she really wanted. I'm going to my room, Mom, Ivy grumbled and stomped up the stairs. What she didn't know was just a few houses down, Rosie was doing the same thing. She felt bad for the way she acted towards Fina, but was still a little upset. And when she walked into her house, her mom asked the same question about the pony ride, which made Rosie mad at Fina and Ivy all over again. And that brings us right back to the beginning of our story. Ivy, it's time to leave for Fina's birthday party. Are you ready to go? Called Ivy's mom from the bottom of the stairs. You don't want to be late and miss your big pony ride, do you? I'm not going, Ivy called back to her mom. Fina doesn't want me there anyway. I don't even know if she wants to be friends anymore. Hearing this and being very surprised by it all, Ivy's mom went right into her daughter's room where she heard the whole story from early that morning. And then Fina told Rosie and I don't care if either of you are at my party this afternoon. It doesn't feel like you want to be there anyway, said Ivy as she laid on her bed. Oh, sweetie, I'm sure Fina didn't mean that and is feeling bad for saying it, started Ivy's mom. And I'm sure you feel the same way about some things that you said too, right? I guess you're right, answered Ivy. And I guess I should go. And I guess I shouldn't be upset about who gets the second pony ride, even though it should be me. Ivy, everything but the last part sounds good to me, said her mom, helping her get up from her bed. Now put on your fairy wings and flower crown and let's go have fun at Fina's birthday. Ivy reluctantly got up from her bed and got dressed up in her fairy costume. She had been so excited about the party, she had put the outfit out 2 days earlier. Now it seemed like a bother to put it on. As she got dressed, Ivy tried to get herself excited about the party. Even if she didn't play with Fina and Rosie, she knew other friends from her school were going to be there. And how could she not at least have a little fun? I mean, it was a birthday party after all. So Ivy took a deep breath, put on her fairy wings, grabbed Fina's present, and walked out the door with her mom. Once at the party, Ivy said a quick hello to Rosie and an even quicker happy birthday to Fina before she ran off to play with some other friends. The party went on as planned and everyone had a good time. Except Fina, Rosie, and Ivy, who knew something was wrong. They tried their hardest just to give each other space, hoping that would help and not ruin Fina's birthday party for her. But they were two of Fina's best friends, and not being able to celebrate them was making Fina and Rosie and Ivy feel bad. An hour or so into the party, Rosie and Ivy both separately thought it would be a good time to talk to Fina. But as they were walking over to her, Fina's mom announced that pony rides would be starting. Fina will have the first ride since she's the birthday girl, and she can pick the next person. That person will pick the next person, and so on, said Fina's mom. When Fina was done with her ride, she picked her little sister to go next, and Rosie and Ivy couldn't help but feel upset again. Fina felt bad too, but she knew she couldn't pick either of them or another friend. She thought picking her sister would maybe be a good way to not have upset anyone. But she was wrong. "We're leaving," said Rosie and Ivy together as they both got to Fina at the same time. "Thank you for a nice party," said Ivy as she turned to leave. "Yes, thank you. The bounce house was really cool," said Rosie, who turned to walk out as well. Fina didn't know what to say, but she was upset that two of her best friends were leaving her party before it was even over. They hadn't even had cake yet. "I can't believe they're this upset about a pony ride," she whispered to herself as she turned around, quite frustrated, and walked towards the bounce house. Fina's mom knew the whole story as well and told her daughter maybe it was best to let Rosie and Ivy have their space, and hopefully the next day they could talk and work things out. She just wanted Fina to enjoy her special day. Fina agreed and slowly went back to her party. Once the pony rides were over, it was time for cake. Fina tried her best to be happy. After all, it was her birthday party. But inside, she felt all kinds of emotions. Fina felt bad that Rosie and Ivy were upset, but she also was upset with them for being mad at her and making her seem like a bad friend who had bragged all the time. And having it all happen on her birthday and causing her not to be able to celebrate this special day with her best friends just made her feel sad. When it came time to make her birthday wish, Fina just wanted to be anywhere but at the party. So Fina closed her eyes, blew out her candles, and wished that she could go to a wonderful, magical fairyland where everyone was happy and everyone was friends. And since it was her birthday after all, that wish had a very good chance of coming true. And later that night, Fina would find out exactly how good of a chance when something truly magical happened. Hey friends, that concludes part 1 of Fina's Fairytale Birthday. Stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.